Okay. Yes, the sheet is very wrinkled. I'm allergic to irons. I don't own an iron. Okay. As you can see in the title of this video, I'm going to explain to you why I don't think Nightmare on Elm Street, the first movie, is canon to the other films. Now, to begin, I like to say that Nightmare on Elm Street is a cult classic. It came out in 1984, I believe. And well received from audience, teenagers especially. And I like the premise about it. I like the fact that, like, if you go to sleep, you're doomed. You know what I'm saying? You're vulnerable when you're asleep and shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's real and what's not. Because I don't know. Because people say, like, oh, I've seen movies and TV shows of people, when they dream, they know they're fucking dreaming and shit. It's like, whenever I dream, I don't know I'm dreaming. I think it's real. I've never dreamed and thought it was, and knew I was dreaming. I never experienced that myself. But anyways, the premise about it is pretty scary as well. Like, it's like, you fall asleep, this guy kills you. This ghost kills you in your sleep, and you die for real. Which was based off of stories. I think it was in Japan or China. It was about these kids who died, presumably from their nightmares. And some of them didn't want to go to sleep. They stayed up and shit. There's a scene with Nancy in part 1. There's a spoilers in this video, by the way. So if you ain't seen the first movie and you don't want to be spoiled, don't continue this video or watch the video after you've seen the first movie. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you check it out. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. So, there's a scene where Nancy is in the room with a coffee maker. She had it hidden. And that was based off a true event, that one of the children who eventually died had a coffee maker in his room so he could stay up where his parents wouldn't find it. And there was another scene where their father says, if you get some sleep, you'll feel better. Mother even says it. If you get some sleep, you will feel a lot better. That was actually a true statement from one of the deceased parents. The story is pretty freaky. It's pretty... I personally can't explain what happened to these young kids. I'm assuming that they're in their teens. I can't, but it's pretty freaky. So they gave Wes Craven the idea. God rest his soul. Passed away, I think, in 2018, 17, or something like that. Passed away not too long ago before this video was uploaded. So, not too many years ago, rather. Yeah, so Wes Craven, I really wish I could talk to him about this. That my issue with, because I ain't seen no videos. I ain't heard nobody talk about it. I ain't read nobody talk about what I'm about to talk about. So, anyways, let's go through the events of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1 as a summary. Okay, we have Freddy Krueger. At first, nobody knows who the fuck he is. He's just a guy with knives, with a glove with knives, okay, that he made himself. Then it was later revealed that he was, here's a spoiler section, by the way. So you could click off the video if you're still watching it, if you ain't seen it. But if you don't care about spoilers, you're going to stay on, aren't you? Okay. He made the gloves himself, and it was revealed that he was a child killer, but he was actually acquitted by the governments, And but the townspeople were still convinced that he was the one that did it. And so they ended up burning him to death in his own shed. I think it was in his shed. And they threw Molotov. I always used to call that word Molotov. I don't know why. It's Molotov cocktails. They threw Molotov cocktails and they burnt the man to death. And he became Freddy Krueger, killing off their children. So, that's the premise of it. That's Freddy Krueger's backstory. More is revealed as the movies go on. as to his background and who the fuck he is and all that shit. So, we have the movie. We're going to talk mainly about the first movie. This is mainly the first movie that's going to be talked about in this video. Freddy Krueger ends up killing 3 of Nancy's friends. Nancy, the girl right here, is the main character. Okay? 3 of her friends died, and one of them, ironically, never even seen fucking Freddy Krueger. He never had no nightmares. But her girlfriend Tina and her and Tina's, I don't know, I'm not even sure if they were dating. The guy who ended up fucking her, they had nightmares about this man. They didn't know his name. They just knew that he had a hat, striped sweater, and these gloves as knives. They didn't know who the fuck he was, though, which made the story even more creepier. It's like, who is this creature? I mean, this weird man that's burnt and is trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Like, who is this guy? What's his purpose? What's his agenda? You know? So, anyways, 3 of her friends die. One of them gets killed by Freddy because she got sliced to death. And she got killed right in front of her boyfriend. I'm saying boyfriend loosely. She got killed from her boyfriend, and he ended up taking a rap for the murder. Naturally gonna think he did it anyway. So they end up catching him while he was in jail. Freddy Krueger ends up killing him, making it look like he hung himself in prison. Then the third boy who had no nightmares, who is Nancy's boyfriend, who never got pussy, by the way. What a patient man, because they're a dime a dozen. They could wait fucking 8 months for you to give it up to him and shit. You know what I'm saying? I know eventually he wanted to fuck her. I know eventually he did. Anyways, he ended up dying brutally. He got sucked into his fucking bed. And out of the hole in the bed, all of his blood and guts spilled on the ceiling and shit. What a brutal death this young man experienced. He had the most brutal death out of the 3 that died, because and he was the one that didn't have the nightmares. I was like, how was that fair? Anyways, that's the movie for you. Now, when I rewatched the movies last month, see, I'm an adult now. And I'm looking at the movie in a different light as I did when I was a kid or when I was younger. And the continuity fucking sucks from part 1 to part 2. It sucks, you know. There's no connection between the 2 movies, because if you look at the plot in the first movie, we find out that Nancy's goal is to get Freddy out the dream so they can kill him outside or in real life. Okay, that's their goal. How does she know this is going to work is a mystery to me. So, but she knew she could bring him out, because there was a scene where they did a sleeping test on her, and she brought the man's hat out of her dream. So she did that. So she said, if I could bring his hat out, I could definitely bring him out. Makes sense. So that was her goal. So after she told her boyfriend Glenn not to fall asleep, his ass fell asleep anyway after Freddy kills him. After she screams, Glenn! You know, she screams Glenn after the moment he died. It's like she just knew it. She knew the moment he died. I guess they had that fucking spiritual connection, I guess. So anyways, she sets booby traps around the house, so when she brings Freddy out, she could like punish him or some shit like that, until her father and his police force gets to her house and kills off Freddy. That was her goal. Okay, so she falls asleep After she'd been up for about a week, about 5 days, I think she was up straight. So she decided to fall asleep this night, right? She goes into the dream and she walks oh my God. She walks through her house in the basement, going down. It seemed like she went down 9 stories of steps. That's what it looked like, but it wasn't, but it felt like she went down 9 stories. So when she finally got him out of hiding, what's wrong with my voice? I mean, my tongue. I'm trying to enunciate my words. When she got out of hiding, when she got Freddy out of hiding, her goal was to bring him out the dream. So at the point where she grabbed him, they got into a scuffle, and she had a stopwatch on her. And the stopwatch is going to wake her up, of course. So she had to be grabbing Freddy by the time the stopwatch wakes her up. So she was wrestling with Freddy, and she woke up, and she was like, "Where the fuck is he?" You know what I'm saying? I had him. And then she was like, "Well, maybe I am going crazy." And all of a sudden, Freddy jumps out behind her, which is a good jump scare, by the way. Jumps out behind her, and they start fighting and shit. And then she somehow gets out of the scuffle, runs out the room, closes the door, sets up the first booby trap. So while Freddy is chasing her through her house, he's going through all these fucking booby traps, which I think is funny, especially when a light bulb exploded, and he was like, "Oh!" Freddy has the funniest screams I ever heard in a horror movie. Every time he screams, I just laugh my ass off. So anyways, she ends up burning him to death. Not to death, she ends up burning him up. And then while he's going up the steps, while he's on fire, she hits him with the door and knocks him back down the steps. And while he's climbing back up to get her, she's screaming for her father. "He's here, I got him. And the guy is like, "Calm down. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be okay." She's like, "Motherfucker, get my father. You know, shut the fuck up. I got the guy that killed my friends, you know." So when the father comes in, they see that Freddy got out the basement and he went upstairs. And who's upstairs sleeping? Nancy's mommy. So they knew that Freddy was going to kill her. So her and her father runs up the stairs. And they find Freddy on top of her mom, killing her while Freddy is still on fire. And I don't know why this happened, but they took the cover and put it over Freddy. I think the father was the one that did it. He took the cover and put it over Freddy. And then they took the cover off. The flames were gone. Freddy's body was gone, but they saw their mother going into the fucking bed. And it looked like she waved them goodbye or some shit as a corpse, because she was all skin and bones at this point. She was going into the bed, and she disappears into the fucking bed, and the bed becomes whole again. I'm like, what? Good special effects for 1984, but why the fuck did that happen? And then she gonna say to her father, "Now do you believe me?" Because they didn't believe her throughout the movie, you know, blah, 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 blah. He didn't reply. He just was staring at the bed like shit. But it was after she said, "Kruger, where are you? Where are you?" She's beating on the fucking bed and shit. So she requests that her father leave the room. She wanted to be alone for a little bit. You know, she just lost her mommy. You know, and she turns around and just stares at the fucking door, right? And all of a sudden, Freddy comes out the fucking bed. He comes out the bed, rips the sheets off him. And then she was like, "I know you're there," and all that. And she was saying like, "I want my friends back. I don't believe in you no more. You're nothing." She's trying to mentally strengthen herself. She goes, "You're nothing." And Freddy was like, "You what?" And she was like, "I want my friends back. I want my life back." She pretty much said, I'm not afraid of you. I don't believe in you. Blah, blah, blah. So Freddy tries to attack her and he disappears and shit. He like disintegrates. And you can hear her screams. Oh, oh. It wasn't that long, but you get my point. So he disintegrates. So she walks out her mother's room door, and all of a sudden she's walking out the house. And it's the most brightest fucking day that I've ever saw in a movie. Sun is out, birds chirping. You couldn't get more beautiful if they tried. And then behind her mother comes out, smiling. And Nancy was like, this is beautiful out here. Her mom was like, yes, it sure is. And all of a sudden, driving up in the car, driven by her boyfriend, is Nancy, Tina, and I think this boy's name was Rod or Robert or some shit. Anyways, the friend, the ones who Freddy killed are back to life now. They're all in the car. I'm assuming she's going to school. So all her friends are alive again. Everything is good. Her mother said, oh, I'm going to stop drinking because her mother had a drinking problem. I'm going to put down a bottle, she says. So everything looks like it's going to be a happy ending, right? She gets in the car. All of a sudden, Freddy takes control of the car. He locks the fucking windows and the hood comes over. And Nancy's screaming at her mom like, help us. Something's going on. The car drives off by itself with her and her three friends inside. Her mother's looking like a dumbass. Don't even recognize something's wrong. Her daughter's banging on the fucking window of the car before it pulled off. She's waving and shit. And all of a sudden, Freddy's hand comes out the window and drags the mother in. And that's the end of the movie. Now, in part 2, which briefly about part 2, they said that Nancy went crazy and their mother died in her sleep. I'm like, really? And that's when I started questioning if part 1 was canon to the other movies, you know. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Where can I begin? Okay, let's talk about the plot of the first movie. Now, the mother died by Freddy's hand. He killed her. Okay. They said in part 2 the mother Nancy went crazy and the mother died in her sleep. Okay. Now you can argue that that's what the father told their mother. That's what the father told everybody else because they're not going to believe that some guy out of a dream world killed their wife. Fair enough. But where's the body? Did they have a funeral for her? And if they did, why didn't they not have a funeral without the body? Oh, he could just say they cremated her. Yeah, but I still don't buy it. I'm still not with part 1 being canon with the other movies. I'm sorry. I'm still not with it because the plot line itself really doesn't add up to me. It's like I know that they didn't intend to make a sequel. You can tell. And they try to explain it like, what could they call it? Part 2, part 3, part 4, 5, 6, whatever. What have you. So the thing was, Nancy went crazy, right? What happened to her 3 friends then that were with her? Was that part of reality or was that a dream? Because I thought when she walked out the door of the house, after she exited her mother's room, and you see the next scene, she's walking out the house and she wasn't dreaming no more. And her mother even asked her, did you sleep well? And she was like, yeah, I slept pretty well. I feel great. So yeah, so that's telling me right there it's not a dream. Or was it? See, that's the question. I got a lot of questions about this movie. Now, I have a theory as to what happened that explains it to me. What happened to Nancy, okay? Now, the theory goes like this. Nancy's goal, whatever happened, all that happened in the movie was real, okay? Her friends really did die by Freddy Krueger. And And the last part of the movie was actually a dream. I'm gonna explain it. Nancy actually died. Okay? She died when she was trying to bring Freddy out. When she was trying to bring him out, she died, but she didn't know she died. She thought she was still alive. That's what happened. And all the events about her mother dying and she kicking Freddy's ass with the booby trap, she set him on fire, was all a dream. Okay, she actually died when she tried to bring Freddy out of the dream. And that was my explanation of it. Let me see. So yeah, that part at the end of the movie was a dream. And that was the end of the movie. That's what happened. And that was the end of that movie. That was an alternate reality, or that wasn't canon with the other movies, because the next movie says that she went crazy and her mother died in her sleep. Now, the second part of movie, part 2 is actually part 1. You know, part 1 is actually part 1 is actually not canon to it, and part 2 is actually part 1. And the Nancy we see in the third film, when she returns, is supposedly the first time we ever see Nancy. Okay? Supposedly. Now this brings up more questions to me. Is if she was in a psych ward before this movie, part 2, and in part 3, she's a mentor for children that can't sleep. So how do you go from a psych ward to being a mentor for children, having a PhD in one shit? Can it happen? I guess. But it's not believable to me. It's just not believable. So I'm starting to rethink what I'm saying here. I said part 1 is not canon, other ones are canon. I mean, Wes Craven had nothing to do with this film. I know that. I don't know about the other ones. He had something. I think he had something to do with Freddy's Dead, I believe. But this one, I know he had nothing to do with. He wasn't involved in this one. So she went from conquering Freddy to her mother being killed by Freddy at the end of the movie. Then she goes to be. She went crazy or mentally insane. Assuming that she ended up in a mental asylum in this one. And her mother died in her sleep. And third one, she's a mentor for children who can't sleep. Assuming she has a PhD, she works in a psych ward with these children that can't sleep. This is Nancy here, by the way. Didn't know that was her. Yeah. So Freddy Krueger kills her at the end of this movie. I warned you with spoilers. I warned you early in the video there was going to be spoilers. He kills Nancy in this movie. She's gone. She's history. Then you got Nightmare 4. That's a direct sequel from this one. Even though the main character was changed. And then you got part 5, then you got Freddy's Dead. Which really has nothing to do with the rest of the movies. I mean, the previous movies. And then you got new, which I thought was awful. Then you got New Nightmare, which Nancy is actually playing as herself. And she's basically a mother. She has one child. And Freddy Krueger becomes real, even though she acted in 2 movies. You know. Freddy vs. Jason I give 2 shits about. I'm sorry, I know it's an unpopular opinion. But I don't give a fuck about that movie. So yeah, I mean, at first I was saying I was going to speak about how part one wasn't canon to the rest of the movies, but it creates more questions, as I explained before, on what the fuck the direction the movie is going in. Even though I like all the movies, this one, ironically, is my least favorite one, ironically. Even though Nancy returns. Nancy's a great protagonist. It's like I don't get it. It's all, the story is all over the place with these movies. It's crazy. There's no continuity here. I'm gonna change my title now. This is, I guess I can call it the Freddy Krueger discussion, because I mean, I don't even see how these two movies connect. Parts 2 and 3. I don't see how they connect, because Nancy's life is different in these two movies right here. I mean, maybe you could help me out in the comment section. Maybe it's something I'm missing. I appreciate some advice on or maybe some correction or something. Maybe something I left out, because I'm about to close this video. It's going on a half an hour. This is nuts. I just don't get it. It's confusing to me, even though I do love Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not knocking. I'm just confused. I just want answers. I just don't get it. It's fucking mind block. I can't walk straight thinking about this. Yeah, that's it for the video. That's it. I'm done. My head is starting to fucking hurt. I might get a headache if I keep thinking about this. So that's it for my video. This is Y Chromosome signing out. Peace and love. If you have any comments, please leave them below about this. Something I left out or anything, like the video, subscribe if you want, whatever. I just thought I'd get this out here, because I thought about this morning, about doing a video talking about these movies. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Y Chromosome signing out. Peace and love.